Hard work is often glorified as the key to success, the foundation of progress, and the true measure of character. Yet, beneath the polished narratives of great achievements and stories of people who reached the pinnacle of success, lies an undeniable reality. Hard work demands sacrifice. Sacrifice is not a side effect of hard work, but its very essence. To commit oneself to a demanding goal, to dedicate countless hours toward its achievement, inevitably means giving up something else in the process. The balance of life, the allocation of time, the pursuit of comfort, and even the relationships one holds dear, these are the currencies in which sacrifice is paid. To understand this connection deeply, one must explore how sacrifice interweaves itself with the concept of hard work in various dimensions of life. When a student aspires to excel academically, their journey is immediately framed by sacrifice. The allure of entertainment, the pull of social gatherings, and the comfort of sleep must often be resisted in favor of study sessions, preparation, and concentration. While others may enjoy carefree evenings, a hardworking student might sit hunched over textbooks, eyes strained, mind tired but persistent. The sacrifice of leisure is not a punishment but a necessary exchange. Without such sacrifices, the achievement of excellence would remain only a dream. Sacrifice thus becomes the invisible price tag attached to the reward of success. A brilliant career, a strong academic record, or mastery of a skill is never obtained free of charge. It requires consistent trade-offs that shape a person's present life. In the professional world, this demand becomes even clearer. An entrepreneur who dreams of building a business must invest long hours, often working far beyond the standard 9-to-5. Weekends blur into weekdays, vacations become luxuries that cannot be afforded, and financial security is put at risk. For every small step forward in business, sacrifices accumulate in the form of missed family dinners, sleepless nights, and the constant weight of uncertainty. These sacrifices may not always be visible to the outside world, which tends to see only the successful company or the wealth created. Yet behind every such story are sacrifices that can be traced back to years of toil, worry, and relentless effort. They also able when AINR has made SEP peace with RABLECOM, PCOM, MELF, and IONS. Athletes offer perhaps the clearest example of this principle. To compete at the highest level, an athlete must dedicate years of their life to grueling training routines. The joy of indulging in food without restriction, the freedom to stay up late, the spontaneity of living life casually, all are surrendered to a disciplined lifestyle. Injuries, exhaustion, and the monotony of repeating the same exercises day after day test their spirit. While the audience admires the medals and trophies, the sacrifices are rarely celebrated with equal fervor. Yet it is precisely those sacrifices that mold champions. Every ounce of glory is built on countless silent acts of giving up comfort and convenience. Sacrifice in the name of hard work extends beyond tangible goals like career success or athletic achievement. It also influences personal growth and the shaping of character. A person who works hard to cultivate patience, resilience, or empathy must sacrifice impulses, pride, and often the easier path of selfishness. To become disciplined means to sacrifice carelessness. To become focused means to sacrifice distraction. To become strong means to sacrifice weakness. Growth is not free. Trait in for while the WORLDDEB in TESDR, and's character demands the surrender of something lesser, and that surrender is itself an act of sacrifice. Thus, even at the most personal and internal level, hard work is fueled by sacrifice. The relationship between hard work and sacrifice also carries a moral dimension. Parents who labor tirelessly to provide for their children do so at the cost of their own comfort and often their personal dreams. A mother may sacrifice her sleep to care for her newborn while still maintaining her professional responsibilities. A father may sacrifice his own ambitions to ensure stability and opportunities for his family. These sacrifices are acts of love, yet they still underline the same principle. Progress, security, and achievement demand that something else be given up. The hard work of parenthood is not simply about effort, but about the sacrifices that enable the next generation to flourish. It is important to recognize that the sacrifices required by hard work are not always glamorous. In fact, they are often harsh and painful. Sacrifice can mean enduring loneliness while others are surrounded by companionship, or living frugally while peers enjoy luxuries. It can mean being misunderstood by others who cannot see the long-term vision behind your choices. It can mean giving up not just comfort, but sometimes even health or stability in the pursuit of a dream. History is filled with stories of inventors, artists, and leaders who poured their entire existence into their work, sacrificing wealth, safety, and sometimes even their lives. The breakthroughs they achieved were monumental, but the sacrifices behind them were immense. Yet, the demand for sacrifice is not meant to discourage hard work, but to remind us of its seriousness. Nothing of great value can be achieved without cost. To recognize that cost allows us to respect both the work and the worker. When society admires the achievements of scientists who cured diseases, activists who fought for justice, or innovators who changed technology, it must also remember the sacrifices behind those victories. To forget that is to believe in illusions of effortless success, a belief that misguides many into chasing dreams without preparing for the sacrifices they entail. At the same time, one must also acknowledge that not all sacrifices are worthwhile. Blind sacrifice, where a person works tirelessly without direction or purpose, may lead to regret. Sacrificing health permanently, neglecting relationships irreparably, or losing touch with one's humanity in pursuit of material gain can make hard work hollow. The demand of sacrifice should be tempered with wisdom. True hard work balances ambition with discernment, ensuring that sacrifices made today do not destroy the very meaning of success tomorrow. A wise person learns not just to work hard, but also to choose sacrifices that align with their deepest values and long-term well-being. This understanding makes sacrifice not simply a loss, but also a form of investment. Every sacrifice, if made wisely, brings returns in the form of growth, success, or fulfillment. Just as a farmer sacrifices seeds into the soil and waits patiently for a harvest, so too does the hardworking individual sacrifice comfort, time, and ease with the hope of reaping a greater reward. The difference between despair and hope lies in viewing sacrifice as purposeful. When one sees it as an empty deprivation, the weight feels unbearable. When one sees it as a step toward a meaningful destination, the sacrifice becomes empowering. Thus, the connection between hard work and sacrifice also teaches a deeper lesson about perspective and endurance. Ultimately, the phrase "hard work demands sacrifice" is not merely a moral statement, but a description of reality. Sacrifice is the shadow that follows hard work everywhere, shaping every achievement and every success story. Whether in the lives of students, professionals, athletes, parents, or visionaries, the same truth emerges: nothing comes without giving something up. To deny this is to live in illusion, to embrace it is to live with purpose. Sacrifice may strip away ease, but it also builds resilience, strength, and meaning. It is the crucible in which greatness is forged. Hard work without sacrifice is an impossibility, just as progress without effort is an illusion. In accepting this truth, one not only honors the value of hard work, but also learns to respect the profound cost of achievement. It is this respect that gives success its true worth, for without sacrifice, even the grandest achievements would ring hollow. The debate between hard work and talent has been discussed for centuries, and yet it continues to hold relevance in every field of human endeavor. Talent is often celebrated as a gift, something innate that sets certain individuals apart from the rest. It dazzles onlookers with its effortless brilliance and seems to promise greatness from the very beginning. However, talent without consistent effort often fades into mediocrity, leaving behind wasted potential. Hard work, on the other hand, even when unaccompanied by extraordinary talent, has the power to rise above limitations, push boundaries, and create results that astonish the world. This truth is captured by the statement, "Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard." It emphasizes that talent alone, though valuable, cannot guarantee success without discipline, dedication, and persistence. While hard work can overcome even the natural advantages that talent provides, talent can be compared to a spark. It shines brightly at first, but without fuel, it quickly extinguishes. Hard work is that fuel, the constant effort that sustains the flame and allows it to grow into something enduring. Many individuals are born with talents. Some have sharp intellects, others possess natural athleticism, artistic creativity, or musical rhythm. Yet the annals of history are full of stories of talented individuals who never fulfilled their potential because they relied solely on their gifts, without cultivating them through effort. In contrast, those who may have lacked initial brilliance but embraced rigorous practice and discipline often surpassed their more talented peers. Hard work builds consistency, resilience, and mastery, the very qualities that transform ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. Consider the world of sports, which offers countless examples of this principle. A naturally gifted athlete may initially dominate the field, relying on physical attributes or instinctive abilities. But as competition grows tougher and the level of play increases, raw talent is no longer enough. Without rigorous training, discipline, and continual improvement, the talented athlete will soon be overtaken by those who may not have the same innate ability, but have put in countless hours of hard work. Stories of athletes like Michael Jordan exemplify this truth. Jordan, who is widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was initially cut from his high school team. He was not seen as exceptionally talented at that stage, yet, through relentless practice, dedication, and an unyielding work ethic, he transformed himself into a legend. His story proves that while talent might open the door, hard work ensures one walks through it and stays ahead. In academics, the same pattern emerges. Some students may grasp concepts quickly due to natural aptitude, while others may struggle initially. However, the student who dedicates time every day to study, revise, and practice often surpasses the talented student who relies solely on quick understanding without consistent effort. Hard work develops habits, and habits accumulate into results. Exams, research projects, or intellectual achievements are not conquered in moments of inspiration, but through the long grind of preparation and persistence. The talented student who refuses to work hard may excel temporarily, but will eventually lose ground, while the hardworking student steadily builds a foundation that endures. Hard work also instills qualities that talent alone cannot provide. One of the most important is resilience. Talent may give a head start, but when failure arrives, as it inevitably does in any journey, it is resilience that determines whether one recovers and continues forward. Hard work, by nature, trains people to endure setbacks, to keep going when progress feels slow, and to believe in gradual improvement. A talented person unused to working hard may crumble when faced with failure, unprepared for the grind required to recover. But the hard-working individual has already developed the toughness and patience needed to withstand challenges. In this way, hard work not only surpasses talent, but also protects against the fragility that often accompanies reliance on natural gifts. Another significant aspect is that hard work is democratic. Talent is distributed unevenly, with some individuals naturally excelling in certain areas more than others. Not everyone is born with genius, level intelligence, extraordinary creativity, or remarkable athleticism. But hard work is available to anyone willing to put in the effort. It does not discriminate between the naturally gifted and the ordinary. Anyone can choose discipline, persistence, and dedication. This makes hard work a more reliable predictor of success than talent, which depends on birth and chance. While not everyone may become the best in the world at something, consistent hard work ensures improvement and progress far beyond where natural ability alone might have carried someone. History and innovation provide further examples of this truth. Thomas Edison, who held over 1,000 patents and revolutionized the modern world with inventions like the light bulb, is often quoted as saying, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." Edison himself was not considered exceptionally brilliant as a child. In fact, he faced criticism and setbacks throughout his life. Yet his tireless work ethic enabled him to test thousands of ideas, fail repeatedly, and still push forward until he achieved success. Meanwhile, countless talented minds with equal or greater initial brilliance faded into obscurity because they lacked the persistence to translate talent into achievement. Edison's story reminds us that hard work provides the perseverance necessary to transform vision into reality. The arts too reinforce this principle. Many musicians, writers, and painters who achieved greatness were not necessarily the most naturally gifted in their fields. Instead, they dedicated themselves to years of practice, often facing rejection and ridicule before being recognized. Talent might provide inspiration, but the discipline of daily creation, the courage to refine and revise, and the patience to endure long periods without recognition are what turn an artist into a master. For every naturally talented artist who fails to work hard and remains forgotten, there are countless hard-working ones who carved their place in history despite modest beginnings. However, it is not enough to simply say that hard work beats talent. One must also recognize why talent without hard work so often fails. Talent can create a sense of complacency. Those who are naturally gifted may assume their abilities will always be enough, leading them to neglect practice and preparation. This overconfidence becomes a weakness, causing them to stagnate while others steadily progress. The hardworking individual, though perhaps starting behind, gains momentum through effort, gradually surpassing the one who relied too heavily on natural gifts. Over time, the gap created by consistent work widens, leaving the complacent, talented individual far behind. That said, the relationship between talent and hard work need not be seen as opposites. Ideally, the combination of both produces the highest levels of excellence. When talent is nurtured with discipline, when natural gifts are sharpened with consistent effort, greatness is almost inevitable. But when forced to choose between the two, hard work remains the more dependable path. Talent may make one exceptional for a moment, but hard work ensures progress over a lifetime. The choice to work hard belongs to everyone, whereas talent belongs to only a few. Ultimately, the statement "hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard" captures a universal law of life. It reminds us that success is not granted merely by birth, but earned through dedication. It urges us not to become complacent with gifts, but to sharpen them with effort. It reassures those who may feel ordinary that extraordinary results can still be achieved through persistence. And it humbles the talented, reminding them that without work, their gifts are fragile and fleeting. Hard work builds habits, habits create consistency, and consistency produces results that even the most dazzling talent cannot match if left idle. Talent is a starting point, but hard work is the journey, the fuel, and the ultimate victor in the race of life. Criticism is something every human being encounters in the journey of life. It may come from peers, teachers, colleagues, supervisors, friends, or even strangers, and often it arrives at moments when one is most vulnerable. While praise has the power to encourage, criticism has the potential either to break or to build, depending on how one receives it. At first glance, criticism feels painful, even unjust, because it directly targets flaws, mistakes, or shortcomings. Yet, when approached with maturity and determination, criticism can become an extraordinary source of motivation. Hard work is the mechanism through which criticism ceases to be destructive and is transformed into constructive energy, fuel that drives individuals toward improvement, success, and self-mastery. Without hard work, criticism is little more than a sting, but with effort and persistence, it becomes a stepping stone to greatness. To understand how hard work transforms criticism into fuel, one must first acknowledge the nature of criticism itself. It often reflects the opinions, expectations, or judgments of others. Sometimes it is fair, pointing to genuine weaknesses. Other times it is harsh, unfair, or even malicious. In either form, criticism confronts a person with the reality that others see flaws in their actions, skills, or results. For many, this encounter produces frustration, shame, or discouragement, yet those who rely on hard work view criticism differently. Instead of interpreting it as an attack, they see it as an opportunity. The words may sting, but through determination they extract lessons, use them to identify areas for growth, and channel energy into improvement. In this way, hard work transforms criticism into a spark that ignites deeper commitment. History provides countless examples of individuals who used criticism as a driving force rather than a stumbling block. When Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper job for supposedly lacking imagination, he could have given up on his dreams. Instead, he worked relentlessly to prove his creativity through animation, eventually building one of the most beloved entertainment empires in the world. His critics had intended to define him as inadequate, but his hard work transformed their words into fuel that propelled him toward his true calling. Similarly, Albert Einstein was once described as a poor student who would not amount to much. Rather than internalizing such criticism as defeat, he pursued his passion with determination, reshaping modern physics. These stories reveal a universal truth. Criticism, when met with hard work, becomes a hidden form of encouragement, challenging individuals to rise above the limits imposed upon them. Hard work is crucial in this transformation because it channels emotional reactions into practical effort. Without work, criticism lingers only as pain or resentment. It festers in the mind, leading to self-doubt or anger. But when one responds to criticism with action, the energy of frustration is redirected into productive endeavors. A student criticized for poor performance may feel discouraged initially, but through persistent study, practice, and revision, the criticism becomes a reminder of why they must strive harder. An athlete told they are too slow or unskilled can either quit in defeat or use the criticism as fuel for endless training sessions, improving stamina, technique, and strength until the very weakness identified is turned into a strength. It is not criticism itself that creates transformation, but the hard work that follows. In professional life, criticism is often unavoidable. Performance reviews, evaluations, or workplace feedback regularly expose areas where improvement is needed. For some, this becomes a source of resentment, creating distance between employee and employer. Yet, those who apply themselves diligently to address criticism not only improve their skills, but also earn respect. The very feedback that once seemed harsh becomes the reason they excel. A young employee criticized for poor communication skills might invest hours into learning how to write, speak, and present better. Over time, the effort transforms them into an articulate leader, far surpassing their peers who never faced such sharp critique. Hard work, therefore, converts moments of discomfort into opportunities for distinction. Criticism can also be deeply personal, striking at one's identity or dreams. Artists, writers, and performers often face brutal assessments of their work, and many abandon their aspirations under the weight of rejection. But for those who persist, the criticism becomes fuel. Famous authors like J.K. Rowling faced repeated rejections from publishers before their works found success. Instead of abandoning her manuscript after criticism, she worked harder to refine it, eventually giving the world one of the most beloved book series of all time. In this case, the sting of rejection became the energy needed to persevere through the long, difficult journey to recognition. Hard work converts criticism into resilience, teaching individuals not to give up simply because the world does not immediately applaud their efforts. There is also a psychological dimension to how hard work transforms criticism. Criticism can evoke feelings of inadequacy, but consistent effort rebuilds confidence. Each hour of practice, each step of progress, each new skill acquired gradually undermines the negative power of criticism. Where once the words of others seemed like chains, hard work breaks those chains, replacing them with evidence of growth. Confidence born of effort is more stable than confidence based on talent alone, because it has been earned, tested, and proven. Thus, criticism becomes less of a wound and more of a catalyst, because the individual knows they have worked to address the very weaknesses others identified. It is important, however, to recognize that not all criticism is valid. Some criticism is rooted in envy, malice, or ignorance. Here again, hard work provides clarity. When one commits to working diligently, they learn to distinguish between criticism that highlights genuine areas of growth and criticism that merely seeks to discourage. Hard work creates results, and results silence baseless critics. An entrepreneur mocked for a risky idea can use the ridicule as motivation to refine, improve, and eventually succeed. When success comes, the same critics are often forced to acknowledge the power of persistence. Thus, hard work not only transforms criticism into fuel, but also filters truth from noise. The transformation of criticism into fuel also develops humility and patience. Those who work hard in response to criticism learn not to see themselves as perfect, but as works in progress. This humility keeps them open to continual improvement, preventing arrogance from limiting their potential. Moreover, patience is cultivated through the process, because change does not happen overnight. It may take months or years of consistent effort before criticism is fully answered by achievement. In this way, hard work teaches individuals to value the journey as much as the destination, turning criticism into a long-term source of motivation rather than a short-term wound. On a broader scale, the ability to turn criticism into fuel strengthens not just individuals but societies. Progress in any field depends on challenging the status quo, which often invites criticism. Innovators, reformers, and pioneers are almost always met with resistance and doubt. Yet their willingness to work tirelessly in the face of criticism is what drives advancement. Civil rights leaders, scientific pioneers, and social reformers all faced immense criticism, yet through hard work, they turned opposition into momentum for change. Their persistence transformed skepticism into recognition, and in doing so, they reshaped the world. Ultimately, the truth that hard work transforms criticism into fuel is both empowering and practical. It means that criticism, which is often feared and avoided, can actually be embraced as an ally in the pursuit of success. Every harsh word, every rejection, every doubt expressed by others becomes an additional source of energy when paired with effort. Hard work ensures that criticism does not define a person's worth, but instead sharpens their potential. While talent, luck, or circumstance may play roles in achievement, the consistent factor that converts negative judgment into positive results is effort. Without hard work, criticism remains a burden. With hard work, it becomes the very fire that propels one toward greatness. Hard work is a concept deeply woven into the fabric of human achievement. It is the quiet force behind success stories, the invisible thread connecting effort to results, and the discipline that shapes ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. Among the many virtues that hard work cultivates, perhaps the most vital is consistency. Consistency is the steady rhythm of effort, the reliable pattern of action that endures long after motivation fades. It is not brilliance, luck, or sudden bursts of talent that determine long-term success, but the ability to keep showing up and doing the work day after day. Hard work builds this consistency, training the mind and body to persist until progress becomes inevitable. Consistency may be understood as reliability over time, and it is rarely born out of chance. A person does not simply wake up one day with the ability to remain steady in their efforts. Consistency is cultivated through hard work, through the deliberate act of committing to tasks repeatedly, regardless of mood or circumstance. In this way, hard work creates patterns of behavior that eventually become habits. A student who works hard by studying every day, even for shorter intervals, develops a routine that ensures they never fall too far behind. Over weeks and months, this habit transforms into consistency, which becomes their greatest strength when exams or challenges arrive. The foundation of their success lies not in bursts of last-minute effort, but in the steady discipline built by hard work. In physical training, this truth is even more evident. No athlete builds strength, endurance, or skill overnight. The transformation of the body and mind requires countless hours of practice, repetition, and effort. Hard work engraves consistency into their daily lives, waking early for training, adhering to diets, repeating drills until they become second nature. Consistency, born of hard work, ensures that progress is not temporary but sustainable. An athlete who only trains when motivated will achieve little compared to one who works hard consistently, even when tired, unmotivated, or facing setbacks. Over time, the hardworking athlete surpasses even those with greater natural talent, because consistency compounds effort into mastery. The role of hard work in building consistency also extends into personal development. Character traits such as discipline, patience, and resilience are not innate gifts, but the results of persistent effort. A person who works hard to control their impulses, to remain calm under stress, or to persevere through failure is laying the groundwork for consistency in how they live. Their actions are no longer dictated by fleeting emotions, but guided by steady principles. For example, someone determined to cultivate kindness will work hard to practice empathy daily, even when situations make it difficult. Over time, this hard work crystallizes into a consistent character trait, making kindness not an occasional act but a way of being. Thus, hard work builds consistency not only in tasks, but also in the very fabric of one's identity. In professional life, consistency built through hard work often becomes the most valued quality. Employers and leaders prefer individuals who deliver reliably over time, not those who occasionally shine and frequently falter. A hardworking employee who consistently meets deadlines, shows up prepared, and maintains quality will always be trusted more than one who produces brilliant results sporadically but cannot be relied upon. Hard work creates this dependability, as the repeated practice of diligence and effort ingrains a pattern of steady performance. Over years, this consistency distinguishes the professional, earning them opportunities, promotions, and respect. The foundation of career success is less about occasional flashes of brilliance and more about the steady hum of reliable work. Consistency born of hard work also leads to the phenomenon of compounding progress. Small, repeated actions, when performed consistently, accumulate into extraordinary results. A person who saves a small amount of money every day through the hard work of self-control eventually builds significant wealth. A writer who works hard to write a few pages daily eventually produces books that inspire generations. None of these achievements would be possible without the consistency created by hard work. Just as water shapes stone through steady drops over time, so too does hard work build consistency that shapes the course of a life. Each small effort may seem insignificant in isolation, but together they form the architecture of success. Psychologically, hard work is essential because it conditions the mind to prioritize effort over mood. Human beings are not naturally consistent. They are influenced by emotions, distractions, and circumstances. A person may feel motivated one day and exhausted the next, inspired today and discouraged tomorrow. Hard work trains the individual to act regardless of these fluctuations, transforming discipline into habit. By repeatedly choosing effort over comfort, the mind learns that work is not optional but necessary. This conditioning produces consistency, which becomes an anchor even during turbulent times. The hardworking individual does not wait for the perfect mood or ideal conditions they act, and in acting consistently, they create results where others falter. Examples from history and modern life abound. Thomas Edison, famous for inventing the light bulb and countless other devices, was not solely a man of talent, but of relentless hard work. He tested thousands of materials before finding the right filament, demonstrating a level of consistency that only hard work could produce. His success was not the product of a single flash of genius, but the accumulation of steady, disciplined effort over time. Similarly, in literature, Charles Dickens maintained a consistent writing routine, producing work regularly despite personal struggles and external pressures. His hard work established a rhythm that allowed him to create masterpieces still cherished today. These stories highlight that behind every figure celebrated for greatness lies the unseen consistency built by hard work. On a personal level, the connection between hard work and consistency can be seen in daily habits such as health and learning. A person who works hard to exercise consistently reaps the long-term benefits of fitness and vitality. Another who dedicates time each day to learning acquires knowledge that compounds over time, leading to wisdom. In both cases, the visible results are only the tip of the iceberg, supported by countless invisible hours of consistent effort. Without hard work, these routines would collapse into inconsistency, producing little progress. It is worth noting that consistency built through hard work also guards against the dangers of procrastination and inconsistency. Many people rely on bursts of energy or moments of inspiration, only to find themselves falling behind when such feelings fade. Hard work eliminates dependence on motivation, replacing it with discipline. The individual no longer asks, "Do I feel like doing this today?" but instead commits to the work because it must be done. This mindset, reinforced through repetition, builds consistency that outlasts mood swings, distractions, and even setbacks. Consistency is thus the armor forged by hard work, protecting progress from the unpredictability of life. Furthermore, hard work not only builds consistency in personal or professional life, but also inspires it in others. A person who demonstrates consistent effort becomes a role model, influencing peers, colleagues, and even communities. Their example shows that success is not about occasional brilliance, but about steady dedication. This influence multiplies the power of consistency as others adopt similar habits, creating a culture of reliability and progress. Hard work, therefore, builds not only personal consistency, but also collective consistency, fostering environments where trust, discipline, and growth thrive. Ultimately, the truth that hard work builds consistency carries profound implications for success and fulfillment. Talent, intelligence, or luck may provide advantages, but without consistency, they remain unreliable and fragile. Consistency ensures that progress is sustained, that goals are achieved step by step, and that efforts compound into lasting results. It transforms ambition into reality, not through sudden leaps, but through steady, deliberate action. Hard work is the architect of this consistency, chiseling it out of repeated effort and unwavering discipline. While others falter under the weight of inconsistency, the hardworking individual continues forward, each step small yet certain, each action part of a larger rhythm. In the end, it is not the loud bursts of effort, but the quiet hum of consistency, built through hard work, that defines true success. Hard work is not only the path to achievement in the present, but also the foundation for what endures beyond an individual's lifetime. While success can be fleeting and recognition temporary, a legacy is something lasting, something that continues to influence, inspire, and guide future generations. The idea that hard work creates legacy emphasizes the truth that sustained effort, sacrifice, and determination do more than bring personal fulfillment. They carve marks in history, in communities, in families, and in the lives of countless others. Talent, luck, or opportunity may spark success, but only hard work ensures that the impact outlives the individual, transforming their efforts into a legacy remembered long after they are gone. A legacy is not simply about fame or public recognition. It is the imprint of one's actions, the continuation of values, and the memory of contributions that others carry forward. Hard work creates legacy because it is through consistent dedication that individuals achieve results significant enough to inspire others. A person who works tirelessly for decades to build an institution, a business, or an idea leaves behind not only the product of their labor, but also a story of perseverance that others can learn from. The narrative of their struggles, their sacrifices, and their determination becomes an enduring reminder of what is possible when one refuses to give up. In this way, legacy is not built in a single moment of glory, but through years of relentless hard work. History is filled with examples of people whose hard work created legacies that still shape the world today. Mahatma Gandhi, through tireless effort and persistence, led a movement that liberated India from colonial rule. His legacy is not only political freedom, but also the philosophy of nonviolence that continues to inspire global movements for justice. Similarly, Martin Luther King Jr. dedicated his life to the civil rights struggle in America, working relentlessly in the face of threats, imprisonment, and eventual assassination. His speeches and his examples still echo, motivating countless people to fight for equality. Neither Gandhi nor King built their legacies overnight. It was their hard work, their willingness to sacrifice comfort and safety, and their relentless pursuit of justice that ensured their names would endure. Their legacies are proof that hard work, especially when tied to a noble cause, creates impact that lasts far beyond a single lifetime. In science and innovation, the same principle applies. Marie Curie, who spent years laboring under dangerous conditions to study radioactivity, not only won Nobel Prizes but also created a legacy of scientific discovery and paved the way for future generations of women in science. Her hard work broke barriers and continues to influence research today. Similarly, Thomas Edison's relentless experiments, thousands of failed trials, and unwavering commitment to invention produced not just useful devices, but also a legacy of innovation that shaped the modern world. The common thread among such figures is that their legacies were built not on moments of luck, but on sustained effort and persistence in the face of difficulty. Hard work also creates legacy in quieter but equally powerful ways, particularly within families and communities. Parents who dedicate themselves to providing for their children through years of labor leave a legacy of love, sacrifice, and opportunity. A father who works long hours to ensure his children can receive education, or a mother who sacrifices her own comfort to nurture a family, may not become famous, but their hard work leaves behind generations of individuals shaped by their values and opportunities. The legacy here is not measured in public recognition, but in the character, resilience, and values passed down. Many people can trace their achievements back to the unseen hard work of parents or grandparents who laid the foundation for their success. This too is the power of legacy created by effort and perseverance. In professional life, hard work builds legacies within organizations and industries. Leaders who consistently dedicate themselves to excellence and innovation leave behind institutions that outlive them. For example, educators who work tirelessly to inspire students create legacies not through fame, but through the lives of those they taught, who in turn carry their lessons into the world. Doctors and scientists who devote their lives to curing disease leave behind advancements that benefit generations. Entrepreneurs who work day and night to establish companies not only create wealth, but also shape industries and provide livelihoods for countless families. Their legacies are embodied in the ongoing impact of their hard work long after their own involvement ends. Hard work creates legacy because it demands consistency and resilience, qualities that leave lasting impressions. A legacy is not formed from sporadic bursts of effort, but from a lifetime of dedication. When people remember someone who has left a mark, they rarely recall isolated moments. Instead, they remember the pattern of that person's life, the unwavering dedication that defined them. This consistency, built through hard work, is what creates enduring respect and influence. The world remembers not just what someone accomplished, but how persistently they worked to achieve it. Moreover, hard work creates legacy because it inspires others. People are naturally drawn to stories of perseverance, to examples of individuals who refuse to surrender in the face of hardship. When someone demonstrates through their own life that persistence yields results, they create a model for others to follow. A writer who spends decades honing their craft leaves a legacy of inspiration for future authors. A community leader who tirelessly serves others becomes a symbol of dedication that inspires younger generations to contribute. Hard work is contagious, and its legacy multiplies through those it motivates. In this sense, legacy is not only what one leaves behind directly, but also the ripple effect of inspiration created by years of effort. There is also a moral dimension to legacy created by hard work. When people work not merely for personal gain, but for the greater good, their legacy is magnified. Acts of service, sacrifice, and commitment to a cause reflect values that transcend individual achievement. Consider the legacy of Mother Teresa, whose hard work among the poor and sick in Calcutta left behind not wealth or inventions, but an enduring example of compassion and selflessness. Her legacy continues through the institutions she founded and the countless individuals inspired by her example. Here, hard work creates not only tangible results, but also moral lessons that guide humanity. It is important to recognize, however, that not all legacies are positive. Hard work, directed toward harmful purposes, can leave behind negative consequences. Yet, this too underscores the power of hard work in shaping what endures. It is a reminder that legacy is not only about persistence, but about the direction of effort. To create a meaningful and uplifting legacy, one must pair hard work with values that serve humanity. Without this moral compass, hard work may still create a legacy, but it will not be one worthy of admiration or emulation. Thus, true legacy arises from the union of hard work and purpose. For ordinary individuals, the idea of legacy may seem distant, as if it belongs only to leaders, inventors, or famous figures. Yet, every life creates a legacy of some kind. Hard work ensures that legacy is one of contribution rather than passivity. A teacher shaping young minds, a craftsman dedicating himself to quality, a neighbor who works tirelessly to improve the community, all leave behind legacies rooted in effort and dedication. Their names may not appear in history books, but their influence will live on in the people and places they touched. Hard work democratizes legacy, making it accessible to anyone willing to commit themselves fully to their responsibilities and passions. Ultimately, the truth that hard work creates legacy speaks to the enduring power of effort over time. Achievements may bring temporary satisfaction, and recognition may fade, but the results of consistent dedication shape lives long after the worker is gone. Whether through groundbreaking discoveries, movements for justice, institutions that endure, or simply the values passed down within families, legacy is built from the bricks of hard work. It is not given, it is not accidental, it is earned through sacrifice, resilience, and persistence. To work hard is to build not only for oneself, but for generations to come. That is why the legacy of hard work outlasts the individual, standing as a testament to the truth that effort, when sustained and directed with purpose, is the most enduring gift one can leave behind.